For the past 2.5 weeks, I have been the only therapist here. And although my speed in the diagnosis and the application of my treatment strategies has way more than doubled since my beginnings here, it has not by a long way gone enough to keep up with the numbers. The response from the community here has been absolutely massive. People come from miles around, very often on foot, walking for hours. Some mornings see the arrival of up to 50 or 60 people, and a lot of them have to be turned away, which I feel we're pretty terrible about, but there's only so much that can be done in one day. Clinic hours are running from 9 until 7, but I'm told that the queuing for the tickets begins at 5. So the reports which are coming back indicate that this project really is making a tangible difference to the quality of people's lives. And as word spreads, its success is actually overtaking its capacity. It needs more clinic materials. It needs more regular placements of therapists in higher numbers than 1 or 2, ideally over more than one location in time. Also, I'm not sure how much our amazing translators are being paid, but I'm pretty sure they need a raise. They go above and beyond and overtime daily, and I'm so grateful. Ultimately, this needs to keep up with itself. It needs funding, and it has the potential to be massive and so effective.
To start with, we were there, a friend of mine, Libby, and we were there for a month working in hospitals in Nepal when the earthquake happened. After the earthquake, we decided to stay on and help out, and we only really started using acupuncture and alternative therapies in the evacuation centre when all the emergency work was done, and the patients were just really waiting then to find out what had happened to their homes. But what we found was that almost everybody was dealing with chronic pain. Not a small percentage or half the people, it was every single person there was dealing with some kind of chronic pain issue. So we started using acupuncture and Chinese manual therapies, and we noticed that really quickly we were getting a good response. I remember going home from the first day when we'd used acupuncture and thinking, probably they think we're crazy and they're never going to come back, and then the next morning arriving in the evacuation centre to a queue as long as 100 people.
I mean, the only way that I know that what Nepal Pain Relief is doing to benefit people is the huge queues outside. So from previous volunteers, the word has spread and people get relief. Otherwise, they wouldn't be sending their friends and families along. My name is Caroline Crowther, and I'm an acupuncturist from a village in Sussex in the UK. And I have just returned from 3 weeks treating in Charikot, Nepal, for Nepal Pain Relief.
Hi, my name is Anna Marie Wakeling, and I am a few days away from finishing my 6 weeks of volunteering in Charikot, Dalakha, Nepal, with the Nepal Pain Relief Project in partnership with the Tukey organisation.
We've now been running the Nepal Pain Relief Clinic in Nepal for the last 4 years and have a stable clinic base in Charikot for 3 years.
And people, they come from far away, like sometimes they say, like people, they walk for 5-6 hours just for one treatment.
One lady who was a farmer comes to see us, who took about 3 hours to get there. And I was very touched by her the first treatment. We kind of seemed to really have a connection. So she said the next time she would come, she would bring us some guava that she'd grown, guava fruit. She brought a whole bag. Yeah, she was just so grateful for the treatment that she just wanted to give back what little she could.
I have more often than not been treating bad backs, knees, elbows, ankles, necks, digestive disorders, paresthesia, in amongst a whole variety of other conditions that I could never have even imagined encountering, and some absolutely unbelievable trauma as well.
Where the project's going now is also an appreciation of the emotional and psychological pain and trauma, and how important it is to be dealing with the most marginalised sectors of the community, which are the children.
Our project for next year, aside from the Pain Relief Clinic, is to start running a pilot project in schools to help students who've experienced trauma. So Manu has run a feasibility study for that and has just got back.
So there was a study done in Nepal after the earthquake, which basically showed that more than 3 to 2 million children have been impacted as a consequence of the earthquake in different ways. Either they lost a family member, or they were displaced, or the conditions went worse for them. So all these factors are playing into the day-to-day of the children. And this basically what we are doing with the pilot together with NPR is we will work with the children to alleviate them from the trauma.
And I think one important thing is that the issues that students are suffering have become worse since the earthquake. So year on year, the problems with behaviour, depression, stress, absenteeism, fatigue are not improving. So we feel that this project, if we can combine it alongside the Pain Relief Clinic to deal more with the functional and physical pain, can really benefit the community as a whole.
Like, nobody to support them, nobody to talk to, nobody to lean on. I think coming to the clinic for treatment supports them and lifts them in so many more ways than one.
I was asked if I would see a 3-year-old girl that was waiting outside who apparently had paralysis. Now, as soon as I met her, it was apparent that she was Down syndrome, and she was obviously not walking due to delayed development, but was getting a curvature of her spine because Mum was holding her cradled in her arms. She had never been to hospital. The parents had no idea of the condition, and I didn't treat her using needles. I did some massage on the channels of the arm and showed them how to get her using her legs, holding her under her armpits, and managed to get her to eventually start putting some weight into her feet. And I also advised them to get her a little baby walker on wheels so she could scoot herself around on the floor and strengthen her legs so that she may be able to start walking again soon.
In my first week, I treated a woman, and she came in and reported having full body pain and breathing difficulties because she had been in a landslide and was buried. And of course she inhaled a lot of the debris. So when they finally pulled her out, they put her into a hospital van, which then crashed, giving her a head injury and a massive scar to show for it, and left her in crippling pain. On her second visit to the clinic, she reported a massive reduction in her discomfort levels, and I could not have been happier or more relieved.
So I was interested before I went to Nepal to find out if the Nepalese had a history of acupuncture, because I wasn't sure. Because of the proximity to China, I thought maybe they did, but no, it's all there through Lucy, and it's just the popularity has spread and spread, and everybody is keen to try it, and they're getting good results from it.
Medicines they're a bit expensive, so people they can't really afford, so they are looking for alternatives. And yeah, this health camp has been like a blessing for them.
And one thing that came from our local development association is they've never had so much community support for a project that they've run, so asking for more.
We are doing 2 health camp a year, but yeah, let's see if we can go for more.
Our charity is run 100% on donations. Every single dollar, pound or Swiss franc we're given goes to Nepal. All the international parties that are involved in it are all giving their time for free, and I think that's really important. We couldn't run the charity without your help, and the charity can't grow without your help. But one of the really important things is that we want to create jobs for local people. So in every project we have a local coordinator, translators and assistants who are all paid at really good Nepalese wages.
This is something to invest time and money in, and the hope and the happiness that I see in people's faces makes my day over and over again. This is how I can make a change.
One of the hardest patients that I had, or cases that I had to deal with, was in Pokhara. It wasn't an earthquake victim. It was a young lady who has been taken to the hospital where I was working, and she'd had, I think, endometriosis while she was pregnant, and they basically found her collapsed and passed out on the mountainside, having a miscarriage. And from that, then she also ended up having some kind of stroke, so she was, half of her was completely paralyzed, and she was 23. She was feeling a lot of benefit from the acupuncture and the moxa. Like literally her hand would be like this normally, and just half an hour of moxa and she could loosen it again. So it was a really big benefit for her and with her mobility. And when I left, she was all saying things like, oh, you know, it's all about money, that's the only thing that counts anymore. And you know, I couldn't disagree with her because I had to go. I had to go back home and make money. It's heartbreaking, especially when they're pleading with you to stay.